Natty State Studio, the sports media palace of Mid-America, the Wolf of Center Street. Here's your host, John Nabors.
And welcome in to the John Nabors Show here live from Natty State Sports Studios. Appreciate everybody listening in and watching in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I am your host, John Nabors, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, as I know there are plenty of the things to get to today, which we're going to try to get to all of it today, but definitely a lot of things to work through. Good things, maybe not so good things, and some potential things, but we want to get into all the conversations with you. And, of course, here on the John Nabors Show, you can always chat with us via the chat of the live stream. You can also get after us by calling in on our phone line. Yes, we do have one of those. And it's a very simple thing to do. It's just 936-246-2889. You call in. We'll try to get you hooked up, try to get you connected. And we'll be having some fun with that, too, because usually the callers are always interesting, to say the least, at least for the most part. But still, we'll have all that. We'll get to your Arkansas update. We'll have some updates of our own here at Natty State Sports, but we will start with, of course, the news that happened from really all over the weekend. And once again, talking about Razorback basketball and the excitement that stems from all of that. Listen, Razorback basketball right now is on fire, to put it mildly. They continue to do what we were all hoping for and were expecting out of John Calipari in his first year at Arkansas. And we know that they have been able to add some guys into the mix and then be part of the puzzle. Billy Richmond, of course, was one of the latest guys to commit. That actually happened on Friday. And he's a player that was number 24 in the country. You still have Boogie Fland, who's number 19 in the country. Carter Knox, who's number 21 in the country. So that's really good. That's great. That's grand. That's wonderful. But a lot of the attention is being turned towards some of the transfers that potentially could be making their way over here to Arkansas. Now, again, I know that there's other players that they're going to have to add to the mix here eventually, but at least right now, the attention is on one Brandon Garrison from Oklahoma State as the transfer, the big man, 6'11", 245. But the other one, without doubt, maybe the biggest one, is Jonas Adu from Tennessee, also 6'11", 241. And that's nothing against Brandon Garrison, but Brandon Garrison was a true freshman this past year. He averaged 7.5 points per game, 5 rebounds a game, and a block a game, and assist a game. Really solid. Still has 3 years to play. But Jonas Adu is the one that I think most Razorback fans are really paying attention to and really looking after, as he was a starter on last year's Tennessee team, that Tennessee team that made it to the Elite Eight and was one of the best teams in the SEC. Did average close to 12 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 2 block shots a game. Does have 1 year of eligibility remaining, and also had 8 double-doubles and earned first-team All-SEC and first-team All-SEC defensive team for the Volunteers. So those are the two that we are monitoring and that we are looking at right now, which I'm going to be honest, folks, just basing it on the things that I've been hearing, and my sources have said very good things about the possibility of not just getting one of these guys, but possibly both of these guys. It's not to say it's confirmed. I'm not reporting anything, but it is certainly looking good for Arkansas and Calipari to be getting one of these guys. And what's funny about it is, considering how Arkansas has handled themselves in balancing the transfer portal and the high school recruiting of it, you could have truly one of the most hyped, entertaining teams that you will ever see at Arkansas. I mean, the way that they're building it, it's one thing to say it, it's one thing to believe it, but it's another thing when it's actually happening. And I thought it was great seeing not only the visits and what was going down with someone like Adu, but now I guess the most recent thing, and I'm looking over my intern Will, it was on 24/7 Sports, right? Was that where it was? That's was reporting this? Okay, so according to them, it's a crystal ball towards Arkansas. Is that right?
There's now 2 sites up.
2 sites up that have Arkansas as the crystal ball.
Just saw it on Twitter.
Okay, so yeah, we got a little bit of Arkansas action coming in for getting Adu, which is kind of what I've heard, and apparently really enjoyed his visit and really love hanging out. And I can't tell you how big that is, folks. Like, you want to get all the players, and somebody may look at it and be like, oh, well, you only want the ones that you're going to end up getting, and that's fine. But again, I just can't really iterate how important and how huge it is to be able to get those guys. And John L. Davis is also somebody that's in the mix, which is another one I would really like to have. But I did think it was funny today, and I think we'd be remiss in showing this, that Brandon Garrison apparently had a great breakfast this morning because he was over, this is his Instagram post, he was over at C4 Nightclub and Lounge, and you're in Fayetteville to start the day and breakfast. Folks, I don't think they have breakfast there at the C4 Nightclub and Lounge. And I just want you to know, you're like, well, where is that place? Just look it up yourself, and you'll kind of see the humor behind it all. But good to see that he was at least still on campus and still here in Fayetteville, still checking out the whole deal. So, but imagine getting both of those guys. I think it might be a pipe dream, or maybe it's a little bit greedy, but getting Jonas Adu as well as Brandon Garrison, both 2 6'11" guys that have big-time experience in college basketball, and to be able to play offset each other, not to mention the fact that you already have Big Z, who's on the team, who happens to be 7'2", not too small of a guy. And so you're talking about having 3 guys potentially that are 6'11" and above, which it feels like Arkansas has not had one guy that's been 6'11" and above, much less 3. So potentially that's what you're talking about, is having a sizable team. You got some guard play already in there with, of course, Boogie Flan committing to Arkansas last week, Billy Richmond, as well as Carter Knox, true freshman, but really more of the forward position. It seems like they have it all ready to go and building the team that needs to be done as far as the depth and all that. But it just, I can't reiterate how big it is with these visits. The visits are always going to get you to a certain point. And if it's been throwing out there as far as the visit being canceled for Adu at North Carolina, which I believe is what he was scheduled to have this weekend, if it's already being canceled, then that kind of tells you the writing on the wall. You always want to be the last visit, because more often than not, if a player visits one campus and then the next weekend, however you want to put it, visits the next a different campus, odds are you didn't get them. Because very few times are you going to have the guy turn around and be like, actually, I'm going to go back and play for the school that gave me that chance there earlier. So it looks good for Arkansas if that's the case. But Adu is the one that I think everybody was just really holding out hope for. I know I was holding out hope for him. I thought he was really going to be the guy immediately that could make an impact in the inside game. And imagine him and Big Z being on the floor at the same time. I don't know if that actually happened or not, but imagine if it did. That'd be fun. Love to see that and see how well that would go. But, so I like what they're doing. I like what Cal, of course, is continuing to build. And I think we're going to have some news here pretty soon. It'd be nice if it was during my show. No guarantees. But I just continue to hear nothing but good things about Calipari and what his staff is doing and who they're building and who they're bringing in and the excitement level surrounding it. I know that one of the players that Arkansas fans were looking at was possibly getting a guy that acquaintance who was a 5-star, was committed to Kentucky. He actually just officially committed to Arizona State. So I'm not saying that that's telling of anything, but at the same time, kind of gives you an idea of where things are at and where they may be moving on from them. So, yeah, I want to get all these players that if Cal wants them, I want them. If they're recruiting them, if they're trying to get these guys on board, I want them too. So let's try to continue to build these guys and these guys that may not even be on the watch list. Because again, if you haven't gone to nattystatesports.com, you can check out the Natty State big board for all the players that Arkansas is going after too. Like one of the ones is Trezarian White that I'm really excited about. There's potential there. And he's been contacted by Arkansas staff as of last week, but he was a dude that played for UNC Wilmington. And I know y'all remember UNC Wilmington that got beat Arkansas this past year. Dude averaged 20 points a game, 7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and shot 39% from three-point land. And he is 6'7". He's a guard. Know that the build of him, as Scotty Bordelon and Curtis Wilkerson put together, is more of an Anthony Black. But, man, imagine him being that. And not to mention the fact that he got 28 points against Arkansas this past season in that game at home in Bud Walton that they lost. But you know what's also ironic is they played Kentucky too, and guess what they did? Guess what he did against Kentucky? He scored 27 points. So, guy that can really load it up. And, man, if you get him, if you get these two guys with Adu and Harrison, and then you throw in to the mix to getting White as well as John L. Davis, whoo, buddy, it's going to continue to blow up. Yeah, sorry, Nick, you're right. I got it mixed up. The UNC Greensboro was a team that Arkansas lost, not UNC Wilmington. But still, there was a guy that really poured it on when Arkansas played him. I always get those UNCs. UNC Greensboro, UNC Asheville, UNC Asheboro, and UNC whatever. One of them UNC schools. But yes, that's the one that ended up beating Arkansas. How could I forget? But, man, that was terrible. Pretty stinky. But there's still some other players that are in the mix too, and I can't wait to continue to keep up with it and everything and checking it out. But again, folks, if you want in on the conversation, you can call in at 936-246-2889 to get your thoughts heard here on the John Nabors Show. And also have our guy, intern Will, over here. He's hanging out with us too for a little bit. So, Will, I know you had a good weekend for sports. You've been pretty excited about this basketball side of things too.
We're going to be so good.
It's exciting. Yeah, I think so. I think it's fair to say that you guys will be, or Arkansas will going to be decent in what they're doing. So, but yeah, you didn't want to head over to C4, check out Brandon Garrison over there?
I didn't. Decided to hang out up here today.
Man, that was a tough decision. I know it's a tough decision. So, yeah, I think that I'm thinking that because of Calipari and his first pitch that he threw out against for Arkansas in Baum Walker, that was pretty sweet, and I think that's going to be what gets these guys here. Honestly,
it was a strike.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
a stand-up strike.
I was gonna say it was a strike, but I was happy that he was going to get it over the plate because that was what people were discussing. It's like whether or not he's actually going to go out there and get it over the plate.
I don't think he's ever going to sell himself short.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think he was ever going to do something dumb like that. In fact, here you go, folks. Let's go ahead and play this clip here, and look at it and see what it's looking like. Get the audio. There we go. I mean, look at this guy. Look at him. Look at him. Always like, oh, wait, got to get out. Like, look at the little hop step over the dirt. Didn't want to get the dirt dirty. And he was on his shoes. On those Nikes. They pronounced his name right. Look at all the baseball team in the background. They're like, oh, yeah, we're watching this. Look at all of them running over like, oh, yeah, we got to see this. Look at this. He steps on the top and then winds up and got it right there. Right there to Tate McGuire. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Tate McGuire's the happiest man in the world right now. And I would be too, man. I would be too. That was pretty cool. I thought that, like, when he was going out there and I was hearing that he was going to be throwing out the first pitch, part of me was like, ooh, man, I wonder how this is going to go. I even put out a poll question of, like, how I think it was going to go. But then I started thinking more. I was like, man, he ain't going to – he would never do something that would jeopardize him being not cool. No. And it was pretty cool. He got it right over the plate.
Is it just me, or does he? I think only Calipari only has one Arkansas pullover. He wears the same one every time I see him.
He probably only has one. He just seems like a one pullover guy, though. Like maybe
he had to switch from blue to red.
Yeah, maybe he wants to venture out eventually, but he's been so busy on the road and visits, he can't have time to be trying on different types of quarter zips and whatnot. He'll make it happen. He'll get it done. But I was impressed to see him go out there and just throw it right down the pipe. So it was pretty nice. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet for them too. Let's see. We got people going in on the phone line. So let's go ahead and have, I believe this is Ethan from Benton leading us off. What's up, Ethan?
What's up, John? I am a student at the University of Arkansas, and I actually had a two-part question.
One,
starting with, did we actively recruit Peja Stojakovic's son, who just recently committed to California?
Okay, it depends on what your definition of actively recruiting means. Like, how would you define actively recruiting?
I mean, did we contact and show any interest at all?
I mean, I think that there was. From what I understand, I think there was, but I don't know if it was as simple as just kind of gauging interest, or it's like, hey, how much you're trying to get for NIL or anything. I don't think that there was any like legit serious contention for Arkansas, and that may have been by Arkansas's decision or by Stojakovic's decision. But my understanding is that there was at least some contact made, but how far it went down the road, I'm not totally sure on that.
Okay, and then my second question is, with us getting all of these massive recruits, and even if we hit the transfer portal pretty hard, how likely is it that we get, I mean, if we end up getting like someone like John L. Davis and end up getting Adu, what is our chances of getting some extra depth with knowing that if we get those people, some players might not have playing time after those two commit? Like, if it gets to like 6 or 7 people, what is the likelihood of us getting some more top-rated guys that know that they might not be in the rotation if they come here and don't perform as well as those other guys? Like, does that hold any value as far as them actually wanting to come here after more players commit that are at the highest level in college basketball?
You know, that's an interesting question, Ethan, because I've always felt like players want to play with other great players, but there's only so many great players that you want to play with where it ends up taking you out of it, where suddenly now you don't have a roster spot, and that's not a situation that anybody wants to be into, any player wants to be in, or anything. So to me, I have always felt like if you are, in this case, Arkansas, and you have Cal, and you got already the players that are on the roster and that are planning on coming in, you cannot stop recruiting, and you don't want to stop. You want all the best players, and then cross that bridge when you get there if there ends up being an issue. Like, for instance, if there's a player out there that's really, really good, and Arkansas has been interested in, and he's a high-level player, but they have this other player that's just as good or could be considered as good or whatever, and that's in a similar position, and he ends up committing to Arkansas, I still feel like you got to shoot your shot with the other kid because you want all the best players to be on the team, but at the same time, I think these players, whether people want to look at them or not, in a lot of cases, they're like professionals. They know the game of basketball. They know how it works. They know that there's only 5 spots on the court that can be filled at once, and they know that coming into a situation, it's not going to be like, oh, whoa, I didn't realize there were so many good players here. Why, man, this sucks. I can't play. It's like I don't think it's going to hinder, but I do believe that Cal made it priority to get the ones that he absolutely, truly wanted first and foremost, and then fill in the gaps and fill in the pieces as it goes on with some other players that could really fit some roles. So who knows? Maybe if they have a really great week where they get John L. Davis and they get a guy like Adu and maybe Garrison, like they really start to stack it, you may see some more players start getting into the mix that didn't play a whole lot from smaller schools or maybe were backups at their other schools and coming in Arkansas to play backup. I mean, I could see it going a lot of different directions, but overall, I believe that players want to play with great players, but also players are smart enough to realize the writing's on the wall if they're actually going to be able to play or not. And Calipari's done always a really good job of relaying that message to his players to where they can't come in and be surprised if you're not playing, if you're not good enough.
Right. And I completely agree. And that kind of is what I was thinking about whenever I see Santo making his commitment tonight at 7, I believe is what time it is.
Yes, I believe it's 7. Yeah.
I think that is obviously a guy that we want, but I wonder if any of his decision is going to play on to that conversation that we just had and what you just explained to me, because I've heard a lot of Georgia, and I mean, personally, I don't know why you'd go and play in Georgia whenever you can play for Arkansas, but he would be kind of the guy at Georgia, you know what I mean? Like 6'10", neck at the rim, a guy I followed since like for 3 years. I love him. I love everything about him. But at the same time, I don't know if I don't know obviously where his head is. But with his going into his commitment, I don't know if that had any factors. How much playing time do I actually think I could get here? And especially not knowing if Adu or another big guy is going to commit here as well.
Yeah, because
I think it's a safer route maybe to go Georgia Tech side, but I'd love to have him.
Yeah, to me personally, I mean, again, I'd want all the players, but if it came to getting a high school player that's 6'10" from Nigeria in Somto, which, again, he could be a phenomenal player, or getting guys like a Garrison and guys like a Adu. I'm picking those other guys. And he also Big Z. So, and this is nothing against Georgia, too.
A more secure decision.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Georgia either. But it's like, I mean, I know they had, Anthony Edwards, who was a player there that's doing big things now, and even Caldwell Pope also went to Georgia. So they've had at least some NBA players. Right. I don't know why they went there and played, but either way, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a guy that could end up being a project, could end up being okay, but no offense, if Georgia's the place you're going with Mike White, I just don't know how much effort or maybe how much Arkansas or any other school is willing to put in on it to try to get him on the roster and try to get him to come to Arkansas.
Right. I completely agree. Thank you for your time. Go Hogs. And I'm excited to see all the news that comes out, especially with this week and in the upcoming weeks as well.
Yeah, me too, man. Appreciate you calling in. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be exciting to see. I mean, it's been excited the whole time. I keep waiting to hear, like, man, maybe there's some stuff that's like, it's like Christmas almost. Let's see what happens. Let's see what craziness happens. Let's see who gets, who comes off and ends up being a big time player for Arkansas. And, you know, maybe there's going to be one that we don't even know about that's going to happen. Maybe something will pop off there too. But just remember, folks, as a nice little reminder, if you are someone who's wanting to know and be on top of it and be updated and all that, Pod at the Palace is what you need to be on. United States Sports on the YouTube channel, you need to subscribe to it because Curtis and Scotty have been, there's nobody in the business that does it better than them when it comes to covering Razorback basketball in its entirety. But those guys are going to go live every single time something happens. So if you want to be on top of it all, just go to the YouTube for United States Sports and be sure to subscribe and be sure to have that. Let's keep it going on the phone lines. Jordan, I believe, is from Benton on the line. What's up, Jordan?
How's it going, John?
Oh, it's just great. So far, so good, man. How about yourself?
They do, but I got one question for you, man.
Okay.
And I'll hang up and listen after this.
Okay.
Are you RMS from the Discord? I'll wait for your answer.
Oh, my gosh. No, I am not. I am not RMS from the Discord. By the way, folks, we took over a Discord. For those of you who don't know, look it up. I'm not going to explain it to you. There was this Discord, which is almost like a message board, but it's was the Dixon Street Discord or Dixon Discord. And the guys wanted us that were in it to kind of take it over and officially rebrand it as Natty State Sports. And so that's what we did. So if you're into Discord, if you want to be on a message board type of thing that's free $99, just download Discord and look up the Natty State deal. But to answer your question, no, I'm not RMS. I don't have time for Discord. I get on there on occasion to check and see what everything's on, and I'll check it more now that it is Natty State Sports. But man, I barely got time to go to the bathroom, much less get out there. But I appreciate your phone call, and I appreciate you really getting down to the most important stuff here on the John Nabors show. But appreciate it. Let's see. I think this is Trey and Harrison as one of our residential callers. What's up, Trey?
How you doing, John?
I'm awesome, man. How about yourself?
Good. I was wanting to talk about the football team and some of our recent commitments.
Okay.
I was wanting to get your thoughts on it, and I think some of them. I like the guy that we got out of Utah State.
Okay.
And I was just wanting to get your thoughts on him and see what you thought about him.
Okay, you're talking about Anthony Switzer, I believe. Apparently he's from Arkansas, had 84 tackles, 8 for lost yardage, and 3 sacks for Utah State, broke up 4 passes, and he's a defensive back, which Arkansas could always use a lot more of, especially with Snacks Johnson hitting the portal. So, I mean, I like what he brings. I like the added depth. I'm not saying he'll be a starter because, let's be honest, Snacks Johnson lost his spot to Danico Slaughter from Tennessee. So I don't see him I don't think that Switzer's expecting to come right in and be like, well, now I'm going to start. I don't see that being the case. But again, you got to add depth to the important positions, and you got to add some linebackers. That's what I'm most worried about, and I have been worried about. But yeah, got to add some linebackers. Got to get those guys into the mix, and got to get that quick, fast, and in a hurry. So let's see some of your chats. Let's get to some of these, folks, as I know we always want to keep the phone lines going at 936-246-2889. But let's see. Where was it? I just saw, where was this chat? Again, one of these days I'm actually going to have the chat sent. Oh, here we go from Counts. It says Carter Knox just posted Somto on his story with hog emojis. Can we confirm on this one, intern Will? Can we make this one confirmed?
You can confirm it. I checked it out.
Okay, what is it like? Is it actually like do something cool? Like, does it make it seem like it's actually happening, or is it more of like just a call to say, "Hey, man,
I
come
think
to
it's just
Arkansas"?
a call. I mean, it's just his the 5 teams, and he did about 7 hog emojis on top.
Okay, good. Because I was about to say, if that's happening, that's going to be a surprise to me if he actually ends up doing it. Because I'll be honest. I hope he does. I hope he comes to Arkansas. That would be great.
I'd love it.
But again, I just think when push comes to shove, if you had to choose between getting him or Adu or Garrison, I'm taking Adu and Garrison over him.
Yeah.
Just because at least they've been established a little bit there. But we'll keep you monitored on that. We got some top men on the breaking news side of things too. They're going to make that happen. I don't even want to do that. I'm probably sure that's some Missouri fan. People are weird on here. Keep changing your names too. Let's see. Also, Lewis says, I think he's trying to say, what's Cal done instead of called? Cal done different in the last 5 years. It's the same old thing. You'll get the same result. Okay. Like, what is the point of this? Like, I don't understand why this keeps being brought up by people saying, hey, what's he going to do? He didn't do it at Kentucky. Okay.
Maybe a Kentucky fan right there.
Yeah. I mean, I just think Kentucky are just going to continue to like flood it, which we appreciate. I mean, listen, we're appreciative of all of our residential watchers and listeners of people from all different fan bases. It's just funny that it keeps being Kentucky. And like, y'all got bigger fish to fry. I mean, your coach, Mark Pope's not even getting the BYU players that he wanted to transfer in. They're going elsewhere or going back to Provo. Imagine giving up Lexington for the mecca of college basketball to go back to Provo. Sheesh. That's not a good sign there, too. B. Bauer says, what does Natty mean? Natty, natural state of Arkansas.
Natty.
Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Thought it was pretty self-obvious there, but that's okay. Everyone's looking about Jonas Adu. He's the one I'm really pumped about the most. I want to get Adu out here and see what he's got cooking and see what he's going to be like, because he's a great player. Also, let's see. Okay, I'm just going to go with this caller too because we got some. He's from the 479. I think his name's Gordon. I don't know, but we'll see. What's going on, man?
That's correct, Gordon. John, you were talking about the 7, 8, 9, 10 position players. If they're getting NIL money, it would appear to me that from Arkansas, the NIL money for those players might be better than some of the smaller groups that are smaller schools that maybe don't pay as much for their top players as we would for our 7, 8, 9 players.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I don't know how much in NIL they would be getting, but no, I think that there could be an element where if you're a player that's strictly just, let's say if it's your final year, of college and you're from a small school, you're in the portal, you don't have any NIL money coming your way at all, and you feel like you're good enough to get it, but then say there's a school that's somewhat small that's like, hey, we'll pay you, I'm throwing a number out there, folks. Say if it's like $50,000. Hey, you'll pay you $50,000 to come play for this small school or this irrelevant school, and you can be a starter. Or a place like Arkansas is like, hey, we'll pay you $100,000, and you just need to be running scout team and be a backup in case someone gets in foul trouble. I think that a lot of those players would say, hey, I need the money. I want the money, so give it to me, and I'll go in there and finish out my final year of college and do that. But a lot of players just want to make it to the league and make it to the next level. Kentucky or Arkansas, now that they have Calipari, is going to be similar to maybe what Kentucky had, where it's like, hey, if Cal calls you, you know how good you are. Like, you know the type of expectation that comes along with it. You know what it looks like. And so to me, I think that there would be a lot of players a lot more interested in being a backup at Arkansas with average NIL than going to a school that's smaller where they could be a starter and get less than that, if that makes sense. But NIL, everyone's different. Everyone's personality is different.
That's pretty good money. That's pretty good money for sitting on the bench, even at that, if you stop to think about it.
Hey, I take that money. Gordon.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd be right there with you, man.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, appreciate you calling in, man. Call back anytime, too. Yeah, by the way, just as a heads up, too, it's kind of similar to the way it was in Sports Talk Radio. Make sure you turn your stream down in the background so that way it's not echoing in the back. Can't say the radio anymore, but since I'm not on the radio. But, yeah, the live stream, just make sure you have that turned down, folks, whenever you call in. But appreciate everybody calling, though, and jumping into it. So, all right. There was another – yeah, people are just hating on Arkansas and any player that's in there, so that's funny. But Megan says, how does one get a link to this Discord? You can go to my Twitter, John Nabors Show, and I tweeted it out there. Or you can just go to Discord and download the app for Discord and then type in Natty State Sports and it'll be showing up. That'd be the easiest and best way to do that. So Jason wants to know over under 30 minutes until Adu gets announced to Arkansas. Will's saying he's going with the over.
Going with the over.
Okay. Is it because you have inside knowledge over here? Is that just a guess you got?
It only happened like an hour ago.
I know. It's like people are already acting like, it's like, hey, listen, we got to know it now. We got to know it now. Yeah. Listen, it's going to happen. I think everybody's going with the crystal ball over there for Arkansas. So, yeah, just be patient and it'll all be fine, folks. It'll all be fine. But we're going to pop off, whether it's me live here on the John Nabors Show or after the show ends, if he decides to commit then it'll be the Pod at the Palace with Curtis and Scotty that they'll go live. And you can have it there from that perspective too. We'll keep you updated on it whenever and however it ends up happening here on Natty State Sports. We'll take a break. We'll get to more of your phone calls. I know people are still trying to call in and get in on the conversation, but I got to tell you about our fine friends over at Alumni Hall. I know we're talking about John Calipari and his quarter zip. What he needs to do is just head over to Alumni Hall. He's missing out there because if it's the only quarter zip that he has, he's been going to the wrong store. He has been going to Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has it all. They have quarter zips. They have T-shirts. They have polo shirts. They have the finest of apparel. We're talking about Southern Tide, Peter Millar, Johnny O. They have it fully stocked. And even if you're more of a baseball jersey person, which is kind of like me, I love baseball jerseys. They have those too. The official Razorback hats, they have those there too. So no matter what it is, you got to check out Alumni Hall when it comes to your apparel for Razorback experiences. And they're right there conveniently located in Fayetteville at 3417 North College Avenue. You can also check out the website, nattystatesports.com/alumni hall. Go to that website and you'll be able to see the entire catalog that they have. Check it out yourself and have it shipped directly to your door. It's that simple with Alumni Hall. They're one of our favorite sponsors here because we know that we want to be a part of the Razorbacks, and they have all the Razorback apparel you could possibly want. So check them out today, again, at nattystatesports.com/alumni hall, or visit their location right there in Fayetteville off North College Avenue. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have more of the John Nabors Show, more of your phone calls and messages. So stay with us here live from Natty State Sports Studios.
We not done yet either. So don't be satisfied because we not done.
Hey John, Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrats. I added two-parter if that's okay. You mentioned Arkansas. Eric.
Why do you always talk about Arkansas? But go ahead.
Well, why do you always talk about Kentucky?
You missed it. You missed it. You missed it. Just tell me you missed it. I'm not going to go there with you today. Why not?
And that will be the last question I answer with that hat on.
Oh, shoot.
That is why Arkansas is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I didn't like the game, but I'm glad I was able to walk off the floor again and deep inside and have that funny feeling that, hey, one more time, Horns.
Best guys, I know it's a tough time for you. The coach is gone, but you got a new coach now, and you got to listen to what he says. Okay, I know you're thinking, oh, who is this new guy? Where's the other guy that crashed the motorcycle? We like him better. He was cool or whatever. Forget about all that. Listen to the new coach and get out there and win some games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit, okay? Get your chin up. Smile! Smile! Okay? Dang, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking.
Big Red, so excited. Big Red. Oh.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
I was a teacher today. Told those boys, welcome to the SEC.
Well, Fayetteville is 1,843 miles away, but the call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
Well, stick my dick in the mashed potato. Go Hogs.
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
The John Nabors Show is live from the Natty State Sports Studios.
All right, welcome back into the John Nabors Show here live from Natty State Sports Studios. Appreciate everybody listening in and watching in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. And we'll get to more of your phone calls and more of the Razorback basketball things. We'll talk some baseball too, as well as some football here in just a little bit. But before we do that, folks, of course, we want to tell you about our friends over at Superior Contracting and Development, because they're licensed residential and commercial contractors specializing in all aspects of home building and remodeling, and they handle everything from fencing and drainage, additions to your remodeling and of your existing structure, even land development and ground-up construction, and they have it all. And they're in Arkansas. I know it says they're in Valonia, but doesn't mean you just have to be in the Valonia area. They do all four corners of the state, so you'll have to check them out today and give them a call, and they'll be able to hit you up and help you out with whatever you may need when it comes to interior and exterior design. And you can call them at 501-453-3053. That's 501-453-3053. You can also visit their website at superiorark.com. But no matter what it is, do it with Superior Contracting and Development based out of Valonia. Very, very fun people that will get it done for you in the best way possible, and partners of Natty State Sports. All right. Let's see. I'm not going to mention those chats because there's nothing confirmed, nothing that's happening. But, we will... Some people try to jump the gun here. Relax. There's no jumping of guns just yet. We'll let you know. But while we're waiting, though, let's go back to the phone lines. I believe this is Jeremy. We'll see. What's up, Jeremy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's it going, John?
Oh, it's going well. How about yourself?
Oh, it's going great, man. Long-time listener, first-time caller, calling from Jefferson City area.
Nice.
Columbia, Missouri area. I just want to let you know, man, you do a great job. I love your show. And I just wanted to know where we exactly are with John L., if we have any info on that. Has he set up a visit?
Yeah, well, I know. Listen, John L. was the one that I feel like, not saying I'm like, I'm guaranteeing anything, but he was a transfer that I felt very, very strongly about him coming to Arkansas, because not only is he the number one player in the portal, which is always a very big deal, but from what I've understood, if he did not go to the NBA, if he withdrew his name from the NBA, he's going to Arkansas. It's either the NBA or Arkansas, is my understanding. And so you got to work that. He may be somebody who goes to the draft, because nowadays, and with the rules of how basketball is, a player can go to the draft and they get a grade. And if it's not the grade they want, they can still return to college if they'd like. So, maybe that's something we have to wait on. But from what I understand is it's either going to the NBA or going to Arkansas. And I'm feeling pretty good about Arkansas's chances right now.
That sounds like good news, John.
Here's hoping so, Jeremy. Here's hoping so. Appreciate you calling in, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
Absolutely, yeah. How about that? Well, we're bouncing off here. We got Missouri, we got Louisiana, we got Oklahoma, we got Texas, we've had Tennessee, we've had Kentucky. We had old Megan from Canada even call in before. So yeah, we're going all crazy with the I wanted to say with the transfer portals. Like no one's transferring into Natty State, although they'd probably like to. So Aiden says John Nabors. I love how he did like random, just regular name and then capitalized it. But yes, that's me. That Thug Nasty shirt earlier was cool. Shout out to the Arkansas kid, Bryce Mitchell. Yeah. I guess he must have been watching my Locked On Razorbacks because that was the only thing I was wearing on it. But you're welcome for that. It's a pretty cool shirt. But we do have some other stuff, some other merchandise going on here in a bit. Like the hat that's behind me. We got a little Natty hat that's going to be happening. We got some Natty State Sports shirts that you can go and buy and purchase. Got plenty of those up and ready for sale, and got a huge stock of them too. Because you have one, don't you, Will? Like at least some sort of Natty State Sports shirt.
Gray.
Gray?
Yeah, we'll have the gray one.
Okay, good. I thought you said great, as in like, okay.
No, I have the gray one.
Relax over there. Yeah, but pretty sweet shirt. So if you haven't had a chance to buy one, check them out. It's really good. It's really good stuff, high quality stuff. It's only but the best here with Natty State Sports. It's only the best here too. So, okay, yeah, we're going to give our Natty State reactions, folks. Don't worry. Whenever a player commits, we're going to have reactions. Just relax. Just relax. And also, people are saying, it's like people are saying that Adu's committing tonight. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to put any money on it, but it certainly gives the vibe that it could be tonight. So, again, subscribe to Natty State Sports, and we'll be sure to go live for that. And I'm going to have intern Will be he's going to be on the lookout.
Oh, yeah.
Right, for any sort of big news.
Well, I mean, in the comment right now, it just says Luka just committed to Arkansas.
Oh, in that case.
So, I mean,
in that case.
Cal's rolling.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. He's not only getting Luka, he's getting
LeBron James.
Yeah, Joker is going to be coming in. He's always wanted to go to Arkansas and play for Cal. It's all going to be happening. Caden says, I need y'all to come out with a Natty State front truck plate. Don't you worry, because I feel the same way. I need it, and I think it's going to happen here soon. So, again, be on the lookout. That's what we're saying. Be on the lookout. All right, let's go ahead and get into your Arkansas update here on the show, just like we do each and every day, and it is presented by Davis & Garrett Insurance. These chats, man. Davis & Garrett Insurance is your independent auto owners insurance agency, securing what matters the most. And to let you all know, Arkansas did take care of business in their series over the weekend against the Florida Gators by what a weird sequence. Like baseball is great, but it annoys me. But how about having 3 games in a 24-hour period? It's what Arkansas essentially had to have. Took care of business in game 1 on Friday night, and then in game 2, Saturday, I guess the game was at noon, and then was unable to find a way to win on game 3. But, hey, you got the series victory. That's all that matters. And there was a lot of greatness that happened in there. In fact, I wanted to show off this play. There was 2 plays that we have to talk about here on the show. One, of course, was Jared Spraglott and his play, which I can't play that one because of copyright. But still, the play that he had in game 1, where he had the know-it-all of having a chopper hit right to him at third base, and the runner at third was going. Yeah, he was about to score. The only way that he could really get it to home plate is by doing what he did, where he barehanded it, grabbed it, and then in the same motion threw it perfectly right to home plate. Ended up getting the out. Ended up being the difference in the game. But how about this play by Peyton Holt in the deke? How many times have you used deke instead of referring to Deke Adams, the defensive line coach? But how about this deke there by Peyton Holt? I think this is a great video that the university put up. So take a watch on this and see what this is like, because this is pretty wild.
Right when the bases got loaded at an AB before, I was like, I could deke it if it's a fly ball right to me.
Makes the catch. Runners don't try to score. Peyton Holt deked him. He deked him in center field, and he never runs after the catch. And then he runs when he throws to third base. Donay's coming home. He throws to third. Spraglott fires to the plate. They got him. Florida just ran themselves out of an inning, and the Hogs still hold the lead.
I felt like it was a good scenario to try it. Perfect ball. I mean, it was just coming straight down, so just did exactly what we worked on. It worked out perfect. Jared threw him out. Made a good throw home. I wasn't surprised it worked. I was surprised it worked that good, because I mean every runner went. So I'm glad us practicing that paid off.
So not a bad play there by Peyton Holt.
Not bad.
High baseball IQ play, if you would. But I thought that was such a cool thing of being able to pull off the pump fake and to have the Florida base runner, fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And then also him throwing it to third, getting the out. 2 great plays that were made there that made the difference in Arkansas's game and getting the victory against Florida. So love seeing that. And Peyton Holt's he's a dog, dude. Like, he was a guy that I did not know really what to expect this year. I know last year he played a little bit and ended up being a part of the lineup. Wasn't always hitting the best, but man, this is big time for what he's been able to do. Not only with the defense, but with the offense, playing in the outfield. He was an infielder last year, played second base for Peyton Stovall there for a little bit too.
Start of the year second when Stovall broke his foot.
That's right. And now you see him out here taking care of business in that position group, which I was looking at the stats for this year because I know everybody is always interested to see how Arkansas is doing in batting averages and whatnot. Here's what's crazy. So right now, Peyton Stovall, and this is including all games, not just SEC games. We'll get to the SEC stats because I think those will mean a little bit more. Peyton Stovall's leading the way at average of 331 right now in the games, but Peyton Holt is at 330, so right below him. Ben McLaughlin's at 322. Jared Sprague-Lott is at 311. Those are the only players above 300 on the season so far. But if you take it to SEC averages, Peyton Stovall and Peyton Holt are the only 2 that are over 300 in SEC plays. Peyton Holt leads the way at 323. Peyton Stovall's at 321 in SEC play. I know it's tougher, but, man, only having 2 players in 300 doesn't make you feel too great. Jared Sprague-Lott, though, is pretty decent at 279, I guess. So he gets it up. Then Hudson White at 268, which I would never guess that he would be at the position that he's at. But, man, Kendall Diggs, I know he's been struggling, been battling an injury and all that. He's hitting 190 in SEC play. So, yeah, hate to see that, but hopefully it gets better for them on the way out.
He'll get hot.
Yeah, they got to. They got to. And also, another thing, too, for Arkansas as part of your Arkansas update, Razorback football. There was the NFL draft that happened over the weekend. I don't know if any of y'all knew this, but there was a thing called the NFL draft that happened, and you did have a few Razorbacks actually drafted into the NFL. How about that? Only 2 players, which I kind of want to talk about this in the next hour a little bit more in-depthly, but shout out to both Cam Little and Bo Limmer for being drafted. And it's now 29 years consecutively that Arkansas has had at least 1 player drafted. Boy, they made it to where it was pretty close on this one because both of them got drafted in the 6th round as Cam Little is going to the Jacksonville Jaguars with the 212th pick, and Bo Limmer going to the LA Rams with the 217th pick. Would you rather be an offensive lineman in LA or would you rather be a kicker in Jacksonville?
Kicker in Jacksonville.
I think a kicker in Jacksonville would be the way to go. I feel like they've always drafted kickers. Am I wrong in that? I feel like they've drafted, like Jacksonville, I feel like has drafted kickers and punters. Seems like they've always gotten special teams players. Yeah. I could be completely wrong about it, but seems like they have at least. But there you have it. There's your Arkansas update brought to you by Davis & Garrett Insurance, your independent auto owners insurance agency, securing what matters the most. In case you're just joining us, folks, I know that you are all patiently waiting for everything that's going to be dropping or potentially dropping for the Razorback basketball team at this point. But I did want to remind everybody that this week we're going to be on the road once again, as on Wednesday, the John Nabors Show will be live from Chug Soda Shop out there in Farmington. It's a really cool spot that has been kind of taken over a little bit. They have a new location that just opened up out there recently in March, and it's a place that sounds exactly like it is. It's a soda place where you can have a lot of different create your owns and have things to check out. So we're going to be live there on Wednesday, so look forward to that. But also wanted to throw out that on Thursday, we will be doing our very first official John Nabors Show live from Tin Roof on Dixon Street. We know we've been promoting that this past few weeks, but we're going to be out there hanging out too, and going to be doing the show live from there every Thursday moving forward, live from Tin Roof. We'll also have some other things to hype up and to tell you all about, because it's going to be awesome time to be not only outside because the weather's perfect right now, and hopefully it continues this way. A little dicey, a little rainy over the weekend, but can't ask for anything more than this. And it's going to be awesome hanging out at Tin Roof. So come by and see us again starting at 4 o'clock there, and that'll be on Thursday. So looking forward to that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get to more of your phone calls. And I do want to get into some of the football side of things too, because there was something, a picture, if you want to call it that I saw that really bothers me and should bother all of you. But we'll talk about that and a lot more coming up next year on the John Nabors Show. So stay with us.
We not done yet either. So don't be satisfied because we not done.
Hey John, Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrat. I added 2-parter if that's okay. You mentioned Arkansas. Eric,
Why do you always talk about Arkansas? But go ahead.
well, why do you always talk about Kentucky?
You missed it. Okay, you missed it. You missed it. Just tell me you missed it. I'm not going to go there with you, Dave. Why not?
And that will be the last question I answer with that hat on.
Oh, shoot.
That is why Arkansas is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I didn't like the game, but I'm glad I was able to walk off the floor again and deep inside and have that funny feeling that, hey, one more time, Horns.
Best guys. I know it's a tough time for you. The coach is gone, but you got a new coach now, and you got to listen to what he says. Okay, I know you're thinking, oh, who is this new guy? Where's the other guy that crashed the motorcycle? We like him better. He was cool or whatever. Forget about all that. Listen to the new coach and get out there and win some games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit. Okay? Get your chin up. Smile. Smile. Okay? Dang, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking.
Big Red, so excited. Big Red. Oh.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
I was a teacher today. Told those boys, welcome to the SEC.
Well, Fayetteville is 1,843 miles away, but the call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
Well, stick my dick in the mashed potatoes. Go Hogs.
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
The John Nabors Show is live from the Natty State Sports Studios.
All right, welcome back into the John Nabors Show live from Natty State Sports Studios. Appreciate everybody listening in and watching in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I know we were going to mention a little bit of the football side, which I do want to talk about. I know basketball's on everybody's mind. Trust me, I get it. I love it. I appreciate it. I want more of it. I can't wait to see where it goes. But sometimes there's other things going on too. But I say that, and then also seeing that so we were talking about, and Will was talking about, intern Will, saying that according to On3, that Tennessee transfer center Jonas Adu has received an expert prediction to land at Arkansas. Nice. And I love the Tennessee fans in the replies. That might be my favorite thing. Can I just read some of these? I'm going to read some of these for you folks, to some of these Tennessee fans and some of the replies that they have to this tweet. One Vol fan says, "You don't want theirs, son." And then another Vol says, "Why play for a fraud who hasn't won anything that matters since 2012? Okay. Another guy says, "This guy is horrible." There's a Kentucky fan that says, decent player, overhyped, though. And someone said, it's a North Carolina fan that's also upset, too, because, he was from North Carolina, going to go back there. So, anyways, how about that? I think that's what I love almost as much as all of the positive news that's going on for Arkansas right now is not only just the basketball side and getting transfers and getting visits and the excitement surrounding them, but seeing the meltdown from other fan bases, specifically certain ones, which ones we're talking about, where they don't understand. They don't understand. Like the comment that I saw that from that Tennessee fans sums up pretty much everything that I feel like certain fans, not even Kentucky fans, but even fans outside of what Kentucky was now that Cal's at Arkansas, it sums it up perfectly where they say, "Why play for a fraud who hasn't won anything that matters since 2012? Want to know why? One, he's not a fraud. Hasn't won anything since 2012. Well, he's been to a few Final Fours since then. But also, and this is probably the most important, it really come in here close, folks. This is very important. Let me tell you this. Sometimes players want to go play for a coach that gets them to the next level. that puts him in the league, gets him drafted into the NBA. How many other coaches have done better than John Calipari? None. Shocking, I know. But that is something that plays a major factor into this. Sometimes players want to go to the league. And of course they want to win. Of course you want to win championships. That's 100% true. But if you're only going to be there a year, if you're only going to play 1 year in college basketball, why would you not want to be playing for John Calipari to get you to the next level? I mean, I just don't understand that whole logic. He hadn't won anything since 2012. Oh, he hasn't won a national championship since 2012? Sorry. How many teams have won multiple national championships since then? UConn? Villanova? I think. Didn't Villanova won 2, right, Will? I think they won 2. Yeah, they did not. They won 1. They played for 2. That's what it was. Still, the point is that just doesn't happen, okay? So, yeah, heaven forbid he only won 1 national championship in his whole tenure at Kentucky and just went to a bunch of Final Fours. Sorry. That's the biggest bunch of sour grapes you'll ever see. But, I think it's funny. I find it humorous. Let's see. Braden says, if we had a player, let's say KJ, wanted to transfer back to Arkansas and his response was, I was tripping, gang, my bad, would we accept him with open arms? No. Wouldn't think so. Will, is this supposed to be a reference to something I'm not aware of?
Thinking maybe Snacks Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Baylor's in a bad spot. They just needed him back.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he lose his spot to a freshman? Is that why he left?
I think so. He lost his spot to somebody. It's kind of similar to why he was leaving here because he lost his spot to Slaughter. So, I don't know. But, hey, listen, I mean, you guys remember Jimmy Witt? He transferred out of Arkansas and he came back. Granted, different coaches and everything, but still, he did it. If you're a good player, you're going to be welcome back. Like, if you're needed, you're going to be welcome back. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, if Chris Paul said right now that he wanted to leave Ole Miss to come back to Arkansas, I'm saying yes, please. Come on.
Immediately.
Yeah, come on. We want you here. So, but I don't know. I feel like that's an overblown thing. People want to play, and I want good players. And if there was a player that could be really good for Arkansas, that played at Arkansas before, but he's not there anymore, but he wants to come back, I would be okay with it. I'd be fine with it. So just, go out there and get the best players. I don't care where they come from. I don't care what they're doing. Just get the best players there too. But yeah, that was ridiculous. Somebody said, bring back Slusher. Why not? Yeah, bring back Slusher. That was the crazy thing where he committed to Kentucky or Colorado and then went to Louisville
and then went to Colorado.
That's what it was. Yeah, I got it.
And then I think he's in the portal again.
Sounds about right. What was the other player? Jordan Dominic that went to Colorado, I believe. He's originally transferring somewhere else.
He may have ran out of eligibility.
I would hope so. I feel like he was around forever.
Where'd he come from? Missouri?
Georgia Tech, I thought.
Georgia Tech, okay. Because we had one guy from Missouri on the defensive line, I think the same year, too.
Well, no, I feel like there's always been a defensive lineman from Missouri on there. You had Trajan Jeffcoat. You had Markel Utze, Trey Williams. Yeah. It's like outfielders and defensive linemen, apparently, is what Arkansas likes to take from Missouri.
Everybody wants out of Columbia.
Yes, I guess so. That's, I mean, at least when they want to be able to bounce out, they want to go someplace besides where they're at. All right, so well, since we have some time here, again, folks, if you want to get in on the conversation, 936-246-2889 is that number to call or to get on the chat and a message in. I wanted to bring this up since we're kind of talking about football, so it can be a little bit of a segue. The NFL draft happened, and we know that, as was mentioned, 2 Arkansas Razorbacks were drafted. Not surprising. I was thinking maybe 3. Maybe there was a way, just maybe there was a way that a guy like Dwight McGlothern would get drafted. Did not happen. And so you had 2 players drafted. But, hey, when you're coming off a 4-8 season, you've struggled a little bit. Odds are you're not going to have very many players taken in the NFL. I mean, just in, but that's usually a pretty good correlation. As if that wasn't bad enough, I saw this get posted by Max Preps. So they did a 2024 NFL draft state-by-state selection for all 50 states. In this past NFL draft of not saying where they played college, but where they're actually from. And some of the obvious ones in the obvious states, California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, like they had multiple, like 10s, 20s, 30s. And then you look at the rest of the SEC footprints. Alabama had 10. Louisiana had 11. You had Mississippi with 5, Tennessee with 4. South Carolina had 3. Missouri with 4. Even Oklahoma, welcoming them to the SEC, had 2. But the state of Arkansas had 0. 0. 0. One is not like the other. So, look at that. Look at that graphic, folks. Look in that footprint. There's 0 stands out badly. Badly. And I know it's not like that every year. There have been players from the state of Arkansas that have been drafted before, and so it's not something that's going to stay constant each and every year. In fact, I had an intern, Will, and I'll put him on a little homework assignment. You said that I asked the last 10 years how many players were drafted from the state of Arkansas, and you said how many? Sorry, say that again.
14.
14. Okay, so you said 14. 14 players. And one of them I just said not to count because he was a coach's son.
Yeah.
So, but 14. And how many of them, just if you can remember, how many of them went to Arkansas? Were Razorbacks of that number?
I guess 10.
10 of them. Okay. So we'll say that's accurate. Sounds good enough to me. So you're talking about that number averaging from the state of Arkansas about 1.2 per class, roughly. For us, it wouldn't be math. So when you start to really dive into thinking about it in that perspective, that there was 0 this past year, and on average over the past 10 years, you've had just 1. It really showcases the sad truth of the state of Arkansas and the lack of talent, or at least the lack of development, the lack of whatever you want to call it, in the football landscape. It's bad. It's very, very bad and disappointing. And I don't think that there's just one quick and easy way to fix it. But if you want to say why, if any of you have asked, which I know some of you have when you've listened to my show or listened to my podcast or whatever, some of you have asked why I believe Arkansas is always going to be in the mix for winning a national championship, or at least have everything they need to win a national championship in every major sport except for football. That is the number one reason why. The lack of high-level in-state recruiting. Now, I am fully aware of the limitations that the state of Arkansas has when it comes to their population. I mean, let's be honest. It's a state that has just a little over 3 million people. It's a state that has a lot of talented athletes, elite-level athletes in different sports. Sports that can change some things, you know what I'm saying? Like change some things to make you feel like, okay, well, in this year in basketball and this year in baseball, if you put it together with some kids that are outside the state of Arkansas, and then you could really, really get it going. But the inconsistency and the lack of in-state talent in that consistency over the past 15 to 20 years is alarming. It sucks. Not saying the kids suck, and I don't take it wrong. I'm just saying it sucks as far as the situation goes. Because I don't care what the excuse is. 3 million people is still, with 3 million people here in this state, 3 million plus people in this state, you should be able to produce at least 2 to 3 4-stars a year consistently. Maybe even more than that. But you just haven't been. And there could be some variations and variables as to why. Some of it may be, well, some of the best athletes and not the best athletes go and play basketball or, run track or whatever. They're just not playing football. That could be reason why in some cases. Could it be maybe the particular systems in place for high school football and for places, whether it's public school versus private school or whatever it is? Could it be that too? Of course. Like there's so many variations and variables that goes into this. So I'm not just trying to point to one thing and say this is why it's not as good. But that being said, it's been a problem for a while. I remember there was a time, I believe it was in 2004, where Arkansas was able to get 6 players from Little Rock Central, if I'm not mistaken, Little Rock Central in football. And they were all SEC caliber athletes from one school. I mean, I remember the year I always bring up, the 2008 class, like Tyler Wilson, Jarius Wright, Joe Adams, Greg Childs, Dennis Johnson, all from the state of Arkansas. I mean, Ryan Mallett might as well have been. He's from Texas, in Texarkana, but on the Texas side. But still, you've had opportunities and you've had some years where the classes have been really good, but consistently, you just haven't, which is, again, annoying because basketball, you have 5 stars coming out of this place all the time. I mean, you have, look at the guys in the NBA from Arkansas. I mean, the 2 guys that were in the running for the 6th man of the year, neither of them won it, which was a travesty, but were Bobby Portis and Malik Monk. Both those kids play basketball at the state of Arkansas. Daniel Gafford doing some big things with the Mavericks. Came from Arkansas. Moses Moody from Arkansas. Nick Smith Jr. is just a rookie, but from the state of Arkansas. Think about Jalen Williams as well as a great player like Isaiah Joe from Arkansas. All those guys are in the NBA. Think about Major League Baseball and some of the guys that are in there too. And football, you just need to have, it's the biggest sport because you got to have more players, but man, it has been so disappointing to see time after time that be something that has not caught up. Has not caught up to where it needs to be. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if it ever needs to be fixed. And maybe that's what limits Arkansas, and whoever is the head coach or is one of the coaches here at Arkansas, maybe they can really have an hammering a bunch of recruiting in the state of Texas. Because that's always how I felt about it, is always get the best kids out of Arkansas when they're there. Get the best kids out of Arkansas when they're there, and then just hammer Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana for recruiting. On occasion, get somebody else from a Tennessee or from a Missouri or from Mississippi. I know Florida there was a run where Arkansas had a lot of connections there. But my point is like do what you know how. You can't count on the state to produce high-level caliber players all the time. Fine. Don't use that as your mainstay. Use that as going after and get the best ones, but then go around to the state. And this idea, and I'm not hating on anybody, but this idea that people have always thrown around to me and saying, ooh, well, there are great athletes, but they get overlooked in the state of Arkansas because the recruiting outlets don't rank them a high enough star, or they may be a 2-star, but because they're from Arkansas and because they love the Razorbacks, they're a 5-star because, you're going to go out and you're going to find your, Sean Andrews or your, guy like Chris Gregg who wasn't highly recruited or regarded, but then they blossom. Those are the exceptions. Those are not the rules. Those are the exceptions, not the rules. You need more than that. You need more. You need a great foundation being laid by the coaching staff. You need a great system in place to make that work. And then you just need to play your hits. Because here's another thing, too. Like, you think about some of the greatest players in Razorback history in football. Like, Will, I'll ask you, you're younger. How old are you, 18?
18.
Jeez. Who is the greatest player in Razorback football history to you? Say this should be easy. Come on now.
It's Darren McFadden.
Thank you. Okay, I was about to say, if we're going to say something else, we're going to have an issue. All right. So, Darren McFadden, where was he from?
God.
Well, he's from Arkansas.
He's from Arkansas.
Yeah, he's from Little Rock. He's from, I guess the school doesn't exist anymore. That's down there in Little Rock anymore. Someone's gonna yell at me in the chat. I was just talking about this other day. It doesn't matter. Still, he's from Arkansas. Who would be the next Razorback that comes to mind? At least, it doesn't have to be the best. Just the next one that comes to mind.
Ryan Mallett.
Okay. Played at Texarkana, but guy was from Arkansas.
Yeah.
All right. Matt Jones, right?
Matt Jones.
Arkansas, right? Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
I always go to Jeremy Sprinkle. He's from Whitehall.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Whitehall, another great player.
The Henry boys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially
Morgan guys.
Hunter Henry, of course. Yeah.
Grant and Drew Morgan.
Yep.
Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. So, point is that you can still make it work.
Oh, yeah.
So, Game. I saw somebody in the chat. That's another player that, unfortunately, just played in bad years. Dre Greenlaw, another one. He's doing big things in the NFL.
Big things.
It's possible, is the point. It's possible to do it. But you just have to have the right people. You have to have the right athletes. You have to have the right setup. You have to have them get. Yeah, Oak Grove, by the way, is the one that, for Darren McFadden. Thank you, Oak Grove. It's there, though. You just got to get the ones that count the most. And then fill in the blanks otherwise. Because besides those guys you just mentioned, which were great Razorbacks, think of the great Razorbacks that were outside the state of Arkansas. Think about the Alex Collinses. Rest in peace. One of the great running backs to ever be at Arkansas. And really, people take it for granted how great he was in SEC history. He's still only one of 4 or 5 players in SEC history to rush for 1,000 yards in all 3 seasons of his career. The only other players to do that was like Darren McFadden, happened to be one of them. A guy named Herschel Walker. He was pretty good, I hear.
He's all right.
And then I think Derrick Henry maybe been the other one. There was another Alabama one that just recently did it. But still, Alex Collins from the state of Florida. How about that? Think about Jonathan Williams and how good he was. Nile Davis and how good he was. Kobe Hamilton, think how good he was at that position. We all going back to Arkansas, miss Traylon Burks. He was really good too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. But point is like you've had also a lot of great players that came outside the state of Arkansas. And because of that, it goes to show you that just because your state is not always producing the high-level talent doesn't mean that you can't also bring in the other guys to be great talents out of the state of Arkansas too. Like you've gone into and brought in some guys like a Felix Jones. He came from Tulsa. Booker T. Washington. Great player. Came to Arkansas. And one of the only reasons he did come to Arkansas is because there was a guy named Adrian Peterson at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So instead, he just wanted to play next to Darren McFadden. But you've had players there. Frank Ragnow, like NFL Pro Bowler. Dude's from Minnesota. Like it's craziness how there's still some other great players that you can have. But my point in all of it is just saying it's unfortunate that Arkansas has had a lack of success on the football field in general, but the talent and the recruiting, it's just where I hate to say it, I'm going to admit it. They just need to do the portal more than anything.
Yeah.
Just hammer the portal. Hammer the portal. Do the portal thing. You do that, you still get some really great players in that can step right in and make some differences. You still recruit. High school, still recruit the state, but just hammer that transfer portal, man. That's the biggest thing. Just hammer that portal. Because there are also some players that came out of the state of Arkansas that are highly ranked and highly regarded that did not live up to that expectation. Think about a Mitch Mustang.
Yeah.
Like he might be one of the prime examples. Darius Winston was fine. He was a solid player, but he was a 5-star coming out of high school, so he did not live up to that 5-star expectation. I think about a guy like, Will Gregg, Chris Gregg's little brother. That guy had a scholarship to anywhere he wanted in the country and just never panned out for him. Hudson Henry, how about that? Hudson Henry, some people were saying he was going to be better than Hunter Henry coming out of high school.
Never panned out.
And just never panned out. So you're not going to hit on all of them. Sometimes you're just going to miss on some of them, but it's crazy to think how many times Arkansas has had players that either they missed out on and they went on to accomplish better things, or they actually got the big-time players out of the state of Arkansas, but they just didn't live up to that set expectation.
There's one now that I think he's going to turn out well. Braylon Russell. He's going to be big.
Yeah, I really like his game.
Glad he's at Arkansas.
Yeah, he's the reason why I think Isaiah Gustav transferred, because they really, really like him. Think about Petrino. Petrino always liked big running backs. Big running backs. And he never had... When I say big, I'm talking about guys that are like 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". Like Broderick Green was a big running back that Petrino loved to have. Ronnie Wingo was a big running back. Nile Davis was not, and Dennis Johnson were shorter, but they were stocky. Like Dennis Johnson, what's crazy about Dennis Johnson, people may not remember this. Dennis Johnson was 5'9". He weighed 215 pounds at 5'9". And so he was a bowling ball.
Yeah.
But Nile Davis, that dude was just strength, upper body strength, ran a 4.3, just a menace. So I'm saying all that to say that Petrino, he likes having those big running backs. He likes the Braylon Russells, the Jaquindon Jacksons. He's a big guy. Dominic Johnson, I don't know how much he's going to play, but at least he fits the mold for being a big running back. Rashad Dabinion. Yeah, that's something that I'm excited to see what Braylon Russell can do in his freshman year.
Then you have Kane Archer. Was he 2026?
Yeah, I've been hearing about Kane Archer for years.
It's
like I'm waiting for him to actually pop and to actually be on the campus. I think he's gonna be a Razorback.
He's only a sophomore, I think, in high school, so he's got 2 more years.
That's dumb. It's dumb. But yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about him. And also Arkansas have a few players that they already had committed. I know Bear McWhorter. I like Bear. I had him on my show one time. He was a really good kid. He's one of the guys. He's the one that put the billboard up on I-49 when he was in 8th grade. He lives in Georgia. He put up a billboard
Oh, yeah.
And just asking, saying, Coach Pittman, I want to come play with you. And he's gotten offers to Georgia, to Bama, all that. And he's like 16. And his dad and family came up for a visit just for the spring game. Got to talk to him for a little bit. And they were hanging out with Coach Mateos, which was at the Razorback baseball game. But yeah, Bear McWhorter was with a name like Bear McWhorter, you're just built to be an offensive line. But I'm excited about him. Also, Tay Boogie Lockett. Mm-hmm. He came to the spring game, got to talk to him as well, and his dad. Great people. Also, another kid that's young and part of the same class with Kane Archer, who Tay has offers to anywhere he wants to go. So you're talking about if they can, who knows what college football is even going to look like in 3 years. But point is that you got a lot of those big-time players that are interested in Arkansas right now. And hopefully it actually works out for them to where they stick with Arkansas in their commitment. I think they will, as long as there's a spot for them. But I'm not saying one way or the other, but man, just imagine if if Sam Pittman's not the coach, I don't know who's going to be the coach at that point. And, who knows who's going to be there, if their offers are going to be there or not.
We just stole Calipari from Kentucky. I wouldn't mind just offering Lane Kiffin some money.
Lane Kiffin, yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. Be easy. Lane Kiffin's got to get irritated enough with Ole Miss before he comes over to Arkansas. I feel like that's the case. Some of these comments. No sheep Sherlock. Had to make sure I read that correct. It says Mitch Mustane's career was worse than Ryan Leaf's pro career, if that's possible. I don't know. Mitch Mustane at least went 8-0 as a starter in the SEC. And, his numbers weren't great, but back then for a true freshman with Houston Nutt, who's the quarterback killer, as his coach, he wasn't too bad. In fact, Mitch Mustane is the reason why they beat Vanderbilt that year. And I know he didn't have the greatest numbers against Bama, but he hit the game-winning touchdown pass to Ben Cleveland. Last time Arkansas beat Alabama.
God, years ago.
Yeah, it's been so long. Were you even born then?
What was that, like 2004?
It's 2006.
Yeah, I was 1.
That's disgusting. You've never seen us beat Alabama.
Never seen it. Of course, the year that they're going to be down is the year we don't play them.
That sucks, man. That sucks. Arkansas never beat Nick Saban at Bama. Mm-mm. Not one time. I think they're only close like 3 or 4 times. Like close.
Last year was close.
2014
was really close.
2014 was the closest. 2010 was close for sure.
Yeah.
That was 24-20. And then
2021 was okay.
Yeah, it was a touchdown on the road.
That's when Cam Little and was it? I forgot how that fake field goal went. Did Bauer, Bauer throw it?
It was Reed Bauer threw it to what was the dude's name?
87.
Yeah.
Blake Kern.
Blake Kern. Yeah, I want to say Blake Bax, but yeah, Blake Kern. So,
You're thinking Nathan Bax and Blake Kern and
that's what it was, yeah. She's got all mixed up. But yes, Blake Kern. So, but yeah, just not was never really that close other than those couple games. Jay Tom says, intern Will needs a desk. Get that young man a desk. Hey, I offered to get him the spot over there at the desk. He chose to sit over here. So that's him. I gave him an option. That's on him.
You rep the Natty State in the background.
Yeah, that's right. You need all about the branding. All about the branding. John Hansen says, where is Curtis? Curtis and Scotty are busy getting ready for a pod at the Palace that's going to be happening here soon. Wink, wink. Just be on the lookout.
On to baseball, did you see Gage Wood is starting tomorrow?
I did not see that. How about that? I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think he needs to get a little work. I like that.
Yeah, I like Gage Wood and his upside. Like as a true freshman, and he was coming in, he was doing some nice things. You could see what he has going for him, but he's just one of those guys where, man, his good is really good, but then if he gets in one bad spot, it ends up being really tough for him. So, but yeah, Gage Wood starting on. Hopefully, Molina will be back. I bet you he's back this weekend.
I think he'll be back.
And not that because Tiger did a great job. I thought Tiger did as good of a job as you could ask him. Just got to get those timely hits. Gage Wood. And I love how the U of A put a baseball Twitter account put a picture of Dave Van Horn on Tiger Woods' face as he was shaking the hand of Vern Lundquist when Vern was behind the tree and no one could see it. And so it just made Gage Wood the tree. Wood. Get it? Get
Pretty
it?
Funny.
I wonder how long they were sitting on that one. It looks like something that I'd tweet. That was the case. Okay, good. Because that one's tomorrow. I didn't even look at the schedule for it. It's tomorrow. It's
6:30.
6:30, and
then we play at 4 on Wednesday.
Weather's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's Bark at the Park. right? For
Park
both?
at the park.
I'm
The
considering
dog pen.
The dog pen, yeah. I'm considering bringing my dog, Rowdy. I don't know if I will or not, but I'm considering it. The weather's going to be awesome, so that's what I'm looking forward to the most over there. But, yeah, that'll be fun. I like how they do that. And then this is the last midweek series of the year for Arkansas, and then they get just straight SEC play from here on out.
I was looking. I think there's only 11 or 12 regular season games left.
Yeah, it sounds right.
That's crazy.
Sounds right. 3
It's gonna
SEC
pass so
series.
quick.
3 SEC series. Arkansas's lost only one, and that was to Alabama. But they have 2 of their toughest ones, without question, left on the schedule on the road. One of them being this weekend against Kentucky, Texas A&M to finish out the SEC slate. Man, it's going to be tough. But it's going to be for all the marbles of who's going to be winning the regular season for the SEC. And I don't care about the SEC tournament. I really don't. In fact, I wish they would just do away with it. But Arkansas, what's crazy enough is Arkansas is still technically right now tied with Kentucky
for first
in
place.
the SEC, yeah, because both teams are 16-5. And then Tennessee's right behind them, and A&M's right behind both at 15-6. So it's really a 4-man race.
Did I see Mississippi State's third in the West?
They are. It's 12-9. So Arkansas, how fun. Arkansas gets the second and third team left in the West on the schedule, and the best team on the East left on the schedule. Fun.
Woo pig.
Yeah, I mean, that's just classic things. Like, no one even thinks about Kentucky until Arkansas has to play Kentucky, and then it ends up being their toughest outing and their toughest game. Because as great as Arkansas's record's been at home, Texas A&M is also 28-2. Arkansas is 29-2. Arkansas is 28-2 at home, and then Tennessee is 30-2 at home. So, home field means a lot. And how about this for Kentucky, though? Not that I'm bringing a bunch of this stuff. Arkansas's 5-4 on the road. Kentucky's 13-4 on the road. They have played 17 road games, which that tells you a lot about the program themselves.
Non-conference on the road.
That's what I'm saying. They probably did play a lot of non-conference, but just nobody wanted to play at their ballpark.
Because at least it's like 4,000.
Yeah.
They were saying
not great.
Empty seats for the Cal's first pitch. I was like,
oh, shut up. It's like
those people there would still outfill your stadium.
Well, I'm pretty sure, doesn't Kentucky have turf on their pitcher's mound? Pretty sure they do. So they can shut up.
Yeah.
I think that I'm pretty sure that they have that. But yeah, they're the number 2. Arkansas, that is still the number 2 team in the country. And I guess they did not surpass Texas A&M. I meant to bring that up, actually.
That Georgia-Texas A&M game was crazy.
Yeah, that was a wild one. Georgia's up 9-0 at the top of the first inning.
And they got run ruled.
And they got run ruled. That makes sense. Yeah, Texas A&M's still number 1. And then Arkansas, then Tennessee. Then Clemson, then East Carolina, then Oregon State, Florida State. Kentucky's all the way at number 8. UC Irvine, and then Duke. ACC's kind of bringing it low-key. At least those East Coast teams. You got Clemson, East Carolina. I know they're on the ACC, but they're on the East Coast. Then you got Florida State, and then Duke. And then Virginia's at 11. Carolina's at 12. Wake Forest at 13. So how about that? The ACC has more teams in the top 15 than the SEC, according to D1 Baseball.
But the SEC will still win the Natty, so
yeah.
ACC always
I mean,
chokes.
it's either going to be – it's like if I'm a betting man, I'm taking the SEC. But if I was to take a team from the field, yeah, I might take Oregon State.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Clemson, I just don't know. Something about Clemson I don't know about. Florida State, I know Mike Martin's no longer there, but
I see them in Omaha, but not winning it.
Mm-hmm. I could also see like a Virginia getting there because Virginia's always low key really good. It's going to be an SEC team. I think you're going to have 4 teams in the SEC in the College World Series. I think when it's all said and done. That'd be that. Tucker's over here saying Cliff Kingsbury will be Arkansas's coach next year. Book it. No, Tucker. I don't believe it'll be Sam Pittman. Not saying that he's going to get fired, but I just think that there might be reasons to believe he just retires.
And heads to Lake Hamilton and lives
a
good life.
And just chills over at Bubba's and hangs out or at his lake house. But if Pittman's not the head coach next year, I'm just telling y'all, Barry Odom.
I've been saying that for years.
Barry Odom. I think it's if it works out the way I think it's going to work out, and Pittman's not the coach next year, I think it ends up being Barry Odom, and he keeps Petrino on as OC because he hired Petrino at UNLV
and then
before Petrino went to A&M. And they still got a good working relationship. And I think what Barry Odom did at UNLV in 1 year was incredible because they were one of the jokes of college football. And they ended up winning, 10 games, I believe?
They were in the championship and played Taylor Green.
Yeah. So, and that was in 1 year. When I think the year before that, they went 1-11. So
I think if you do it, you hire Barry, but keep the staff the complete same. Just depending on how this year goes, I could see us. 7 wins is what I'm going to give them right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that.
That's fine with me.
Yeah. John says, does your intern sing? Let him sing, bro. No, you're not singing.
I don't sing.
Don't sing. Any commitments happening later today? Wink, wink. I tweeted out that today would be an insane day. That's all I'm going to say. Today would be an insane day. Blaine, let's talk about this. He says, why didn't they just walk the dude Saturday that hit the Grand Slam? He's a machine. Dave Van Horn talked about this in the press conference after the game, and he considered it. He legitimately considered walking Caglione. It's Caglione or Caglione?
I think it's Caglione.
Yeah, I think it's Caglione. Dude is incredible. He's probably going to win the Golden Spikes.
I've never seen anything like it.
Like, it's insane. He's hitting over 400 and he pitches.
I think it's a beach ball coming at him,
dude,
in the box.
Well, what was it? I think that when Jake Faraday finally struck him out, it was the first strikeout he had in 58 straight at bats. He's either gotten it on base or he got contact, one of the two, and got out that way. But either way, yeah, they could have walked him, but you got to try him.
Series.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if Arkansas needed it and was down, and then they had. Maybe a different thing happens, but
it's a big boost of confidence if you strike him out there.
Oh yeah, and imagine what that does for things. So yeah,
who was pitching them? Was it Bybee still?
I think it was Bybee. I think it still was Bybee. Porkenstein says we would have beat Bama when Dan Skipper got hit in the face twice and refs called offsetting penalties to keep us out of field goal range to lose 14-13. Cody Walker's touchback fumble didn't help either. 100%. But you know what pisses me off more than any of that? Why Brett Bielema didn't go for 2. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life and ever seen in my life. You are up against Alabama, a machine. Your defense is holding on. Your defense is getting the job done. You missed the extra point in the first time you scored. It's 7-6. You have A.J. Derby, the great tight end,
number 11.
outrun the entire Alabama team on a slant play. Gets to the end zone. It's late in the third quarter. You know what your team is at that point. You know Arkansas is not an offensive juggernaut at that point. They've proven that. And what is an extra point going to give you against Alabama? Because then that just makes it 13. You're up 13-7. Like, what's the difference between 13-7 and 12-7?
Not a thing.
Nothing. Other than maybe they kick 2 field goals and hold you from scoring, and then they beat you there if you don't get the 2-point conversion. But again, I agree on that. But to me, I still get madder about not going for 2. That was the thing that just drove me up a wall.
He was worried about a reality TV show.
That's right. Yeah, he was big on that. Big on his reality TV show. Tucker says, you think Odom would excite the boosters? No. Okay, well, then tell me, who do you think would be the one that excites the boosters beyond belief for Arkansas sports, or Arkansas football in this particular case? And like realistically, don't say, well, we got Calipari, so therefore we can hire Nick Saban. No, realistically, who do you think would come to Arkansas as head coach of football that would excite everybody? Because you're not getting anybody to the level of a Calipari exciting hire. It's just not happening. Not happening. Unless it's like Urban Meyer, which you're not getting.
No.
Like, I can't even think of what in the terms of who I could put into that element. Like, who could I even be in that mix? I don't see that happening. People saying Brett Lashley. Why? I don't mind Brett Lashley, but you're telling me that would excite the boosters? Would that excite you?
Isn't he SMU?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, former Razorback quarterback.
We've hired an SMU coach before. That really didn't turn out.
Yeah, let's not do that again. Let's not go down that road again. Dan Mullen, I'd listen to that one at least. I'd listen to that one as far as excitement goes. But I don't know. I don't think that's the case.
Maybe Malzahn, but I'm not impressed.
But even then,
with what
it's like
doing
Malzahn. I think Malzahn's peaked.
Yeah,
like,
he's definitely peaked.
I don't think he's going to come into Arkansas and do something that, they have not that he hasn't already accomplished. Like he played for a national coached in a national championship, won the SEC twice, 3 times. I think
he won
Auburn.
it in like 2017, maybe.
Yeah, and needed the luckiest of luck to go to the championship game in 2013 with the
kick six.
The kick six, and then the week before that, beating Georgia on the Hail Mary on 4th down. So, yeah, I don't see that. Thomas says Bobby Petrino's the next head coach. Yeah, I don't know how much that excites people. It depends on what the offense does this season. If the offense is cooking and looking really good.
If we win 8 games, give him the job.
If they win 8 games because of the offense. Though.
Yeah, not the defense.
Not because if the defense is great and the offense is meh, and but they still find a way to win 8 games, that's not going to get me all fired up. But here's the thing, folks. To me, this is just my opinion. I'd rather have Barry Odom as head coach and Petrino as the OC than have Petrino as the head coach. Because I think Petrino is at a time in his life, later in his life, where he is fine, completely and totally fine, just coaching offense.
Yeah.
And coaching quarterbacks, where he doesn't have to deal with the NIL nonsense. He doesn't have to deal with the transfer portal nonsense. I mean, he does to a certain extent, but just focusing on one side of the ball and specifically one position group. I think that's what Petrino wants. I think he's fine with that. And I think that if you could, and then if Barry Odom, I'm using him as an example, say if Barry Odom's a guy who I think is a really good head coach. I mean, how great. I think he did a good enough job at Missouri. I think he was unfairly fired at Missouri. I mean, not that he was setting the world on fire, but he went 8-4 there one year. And I think that, he's got certain elements to his head coaching repertoire and what he's done at UNLV. I just think if he just handed the keys over to Petrino for the offense, he handled the defense, brought Michael Schur back, which I think Michael Schur is a great linebacker coach. Mm-hmm. I mean, they not only did you have great linebacker play while he was here, but you got guys like Drew Sanders to come in out of the transfer portal. I mean, we're talking about stuff later. We haven't even had anything change.
Pittman is still here.
Yeah, he's still the head coach. But I'm just saying you can't look at it as if it ended up being Barry Odom, like, that's terrible. It's like, no, it's not. It's not terrible. It's all about putting things into perspective. People saying Lane Kiffin or something like that, like, get out of here. Like, if that happens, great, but why?
Happen.
Yeah, like, why do you think he would just leave Ole Miss for Arkansas?
He's going to be in the playoff this year.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't do it this year, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take if he does not get to that level this year.
I mean, I don't want him to, but
well, no, but it's like
he's going to be in it.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to. I mean, again, I hope it doesn't either. But dude's gone 10-2, 8-4, 10-2 the past 3 years. Ole Miss, yeah.
He won 11 this year with the Peach Bowl bowl game win.
And then for some reason, Arkansas either blows them out or barely loses.
But they haven't won in Fayetteville since like the 90s.
No, they've won in Fayetteville since then. They won in Fayetteville in the Chad Morris year. Or no, that was in Little Rock.
That was in Little Rock.
No, they did lose when they lose to Ole Miss last. Hold on, I can think about this.
Because we haven't lost to them we lost to them in Little Rock in what was it, 2012?
Well, we lost in 2017 in the disgusting rainy game out there.
That was 2018. 2017 was the big comeback.
2017 on the road. 2016 Arkansas won. 2014 they won. 2012
it was in Little Rock.
It was in Little Rock?
Lost.
Yeah. 2010 they did win in Fayetteville. 2008 was the last time they lost because that was Houston Nutt's first year there. I was there for that game. So that's what it was. 2008. Been a long time though. To your point, it's been a long time.
It's a long time to me because I don't remember that far back.
And I'll be honest, most of those times Ole Miss was a better team.
Yeah,
like in the years in 2014 for sure, Ole Miss was a better team. 2015, Arkansas was good, but that Ole Miss team with Chad Kelly and all of them, or 2016, sorry, Chad Kelly and all of them was probably better.
That's
2020 was the Ole Miss was better. 2022
they were much
better, and Arkansas just beat the brakes off of them.
They just weren't ready for the cold. And I remember that picture of Kiffin, and he's just like,
it was 42-7 with like 13 minutes to go in the third quarter. And I remember watching it because I'd been tailgating all day, and it was fun. It was freezing. I remember going to the game. I'm like, what is happening? I thought I was dreaming. Like, there's no way that this team is
we were up 21-0, and I was like, no way.
You're beating the pants off of them. Yeah, like I just don't see that happening. Let's go to the phone lines. I think I'm going to try to, again, this comes from the caller ID. I haven't called him before, but I think it's Emily What's up, Emily?
Emily.
I don't know why your caller ID said Emily, so I was like, I don't know, is this Emily? But anyway, sorry.
John, this is Johnny Smack.
Johnny Smack.
Who we need to hire. Yes, sir. I got it. I got us a plan.
Okay.
We need to hire Deion Sanders. Okay, and I know that sounds crazy, and his record wasn't good, but he missed an offensive line last year. His defense was a little suspect. We get Deion Sanders in, and the NIL money comes and pours in. You said last week or week before that to be a competitive football team on the national stage, you need $25 million. Well, who else is on the Aflac commercials? Get that man over here, and you get this Memphis-type, FedEx giving Memphis $5 million a year. I believe we've got some corporations that could throw some money at Deion Sanders and actually get good return on their money to let him rep their product. We get the money in. He can bring the recruits and the talent. Deion Sanders, baby.
Well, I'll say this. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, and I think that it would definitely bring a lot of attention. I do want to see what Deion does this year at Colorado because, his first year they went 4-8, and it was not great. But if they turn it around and have a much better year this year, I think the shine's definitely going to be back on and say, okay, he can get it done. But say if they end up being another 4-8 team, something like that, then I'm going to be I just don't know. I think, he can bring in the recruits, he can bring in the NIL and all of that, but and if you can't bring the wins to go along with it, it kind of comes across as dysfunctional. So, but I'm with you. Now, if he ended up, again, having a great year this year, say if they went 8-4 or something like that, then I'd be for it. But if he has another year like he had this past year, I just don't know if that's the type of coach you want to bring in who seemed to have all the talent in the world to go at least to a bowl game and then miss out on back-to-back bowl games. I don't see how you're upgrading there.
Well, you don't want to handcuff a coach when they come in, but I believe if Hunter would do some backdoor dealings and keep some real football coaches around, Bobby Petrino and the like, I think maybe Sam, goes off into the sunset with a plus 500 year where you try to retain some of that stuff, bring in your heavy hitter, get your talent. And there we go. $25 million NIL money later, I bet he could win quite a bit.
Maybe so. I have reservations in thinking that Deion Sanders and Bobby Petrino would work together, but I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong.
Just for instance, not necessarily him, but right. I mean, you bring in other football minds that have great experience. But love the show. Deion Sanders, baby.
Okay, appreciate it, Johnny Smack, man. Thanks for calling in. Again, I don't know. I was never. Here's the thing: is I'm not against Deion Sanders. I'm not anti Deion Sanders, but I did get so sick and tired of when he got hired at Colorado. Everyone just thought he was like, oh man, he's going to take over. He's going to do all this stuff. I'm like, okay, maybe, but let's see. No one wanted to wait, and then they beat TCU in that first week, and you would have thought that they won the national championship. I remember watching. It was on Get Up, ESPN's Get Up, and they had a legit question. I still have a screenshot of it that said, is Colorado a national championship contender? And I'm like, my goodness. And then when they fell flat on their face, I was so relieved because I'm like, not again that I was rooting against Deion, but I was just like, this is why you have to wait till the games get played. Do you guys remember Kenny Trill? Kenny Trill? Remember him from Texas A&M? Because he had that big game against South Carolina to open the season. And everyone was like, because it was right after Johnny Manziel. And they're like, oh, Heisman campaign. He might be the Heisman. One game. Nope. You got to wait on that stuff, man. Just people don't want to. I get it. Getting patient. But Sam Pittman's still your head coach, folks. Sam Pittman's still your head coach. Let's just wait on that. One thing we're not going to wait on, though, is telling you about Signature Bank here in Arkansas. Because we know banking is crucial. It is valuable. It's important for all of us to make sure that when it comes to our finances, we are doing business with those who are going to treat us right and do what's best for us and our finances. And that's what Signature Bank is able to provide. They're a community bank right here, based out of Arkansas, right here in Fayetteville. And they have locations across the great state. And whenever you're going into them, into doing your banking, you know they're going to take care of you, not only because they have all the different amenities that a big bank would have, but they have the small bank deals to make you feel so at home and have a personal touch with dealing with great people. Every time I've gone over there to the Fayetteville location, I've been welcomed. I've been appreciated. People come up and ask how everything's going. How's the family going? It just gives you that feel, and that's the way it should be every time you walk into a bank. And so do it with Signature. That's why here at Natty State Sports, we do our banking with Signature Bank right here in Arkansas. So you can check them out today online at signature.bank. That's www.signature.bank. You can also visit some of their locations across the great state of Arkansas, but no matter what it is when it comes to your finances, personal or business, banking always better with Signature Bank. It is the official bank of Natty State Sports. We'll take a final break, and then we'll come back and close up shop and get some more of your phone calls and messages. Stay with us here on the John Nabors Show live from Natty State Sports Studios.
We not done yet either, so don't be satisfied because we not done.
Hey John, Bob Polt, Arkansas Democrats. I added two-parter if that's okay. You mentioned Arkansas. Eric.
Why do you always talk about Arkansas? But go ahead.
Well, why do you always talk about Kentucky?
You missed it. Okay, you missed it. You missed it. Just tell me you missed it. I'm not going to go there with you, Dave. Why not?
And that will be the last question I answer with that hat on.
Oh, shoot.
That is why Arkansas is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't like the game, but I'm glad I was able to walk off the floor again and deep inside and have that funny feeling that, hey, one more time, Horns.
Best guys, I know it's a tough time for you. The coach is gone, but you got a new coach now, and you got to listen to what he says. Okay, I know you're thinking, oh, who is this new guy? Where's the other guy that crashed the motorcycle? We like him better. He was cool or whatever. Forget about all that. Listen to the new coach and get out there and win some games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit. Okay? Get your chin up. Smile. Smile. Okay? Dang, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking.
Big Red, so excited. Big Red. Oh.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
I was a teacher today. Told those boys, welcome to the SEC.
Well, Fayetteville is 1,843 miles away, but the call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
Well, stick my dick in the mashed potatoes. Go Hogs.
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
The John Nabors Show is live from the Natty State Sports Studios.
All right, so final segment here on the John Nabors Show. Appreciate everybody listening in, watching in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas as we're getting closer and closer to closing up shop. And everybody's talking about when these commitments are going to happen for basketball. And, well, here's a reminder. I think I just tweeted at somebody who put it out there. They said, watch the news is going to pop right at 6 when your show's over. And here's the thing. I am fine with that. You know why? Because here at Natty State Sports, we're going to have Curtis Wilkerson and Scotty Bordelon going live for Pot at the Palace. And as much as I talk about it and as much as I enjoy talking about it on the basketball side of things, there's a reason why those guys do the Pot at the Palace, because they are much better at it than me. So if that's when the news pops, luckily for you, we still go live. And it'll be with Curtis and Scotty. And they will break it down the way that God intended without me. It's like that'll just be the way it needs to be. So, but be on the lookout. That's what we do here, though. That's what we do here at Natty State Sports, man. We always want to make sure that we are on top of it and going live each and every time something significantly comes out there and ends up breaking, and which hopefully happens here pretty soon too. So, let's see. I wanted to. Okay, let's get out of this mode here too. I also got intern Will hanging out with us here in studio, which. Thanks to intern Will. He's hooking up with baseball tickets. I got to give a shout out to him. He's hooking me up with some baseball tickets here recently. Good seats, by the way, as you have.
Thank you.
On there. Yeah. But have you been going to every game?
Mostly.
Yeah. Gonna go to tomorrow's game?
I'm going to go tomorrow and probably Wednesday.
And Wednesday. You said Wednesday's at 4?
It's at 4.
Can't do that one. I got a thing called a show to do.
Show.
Mm-hmm. And do a show over at Chug.
Chug.
Which I'm looking forward to. It's going to be exciting. So, but yes, for those of you who are wondering about announcements and all that stuff, it's going to be fine because we'll get a chance to hear from Curtis and Scotty on that. I did want to bring up some random funny stories to me too before we close up shop too. This one is always again because I like talking about these particular pieces here, and actually that's not the one I wanted to bring up first. Let me get out of that. There's this one. So people know about Spencer Rattler, right? Spencer Rattler, as he is a guy that was originally at Oklahoma, where he committed, and then he was at South Carolina after that, which great, not too bad, not too shabby, but he ended up falling a little bit into the draft, and the reason being is some people said, oh, it was just because of his timing or whatever, but apparently what it was is because of the way he acted when he was on that special of QB1. I don't remember. Do you ever watch QB1?
I never watched it.
Okay, so QB1, for those of you who may not know, is kind of like a high school, like Hard Knocks thing, like behind the scenes documentary. And he came off as a total jerk, like he did. But he was also 17 years old.
Yeah.
So I saw this, I was like, whatever, it's fine. But that wasn't really what the thing I remember the most about it. What I remember the most about that QB1 thing and about Spencer Rattler is that he wanted, reportedly, to go to Arkansas. He's a Razorback fan, grew up a Razorback fan. His dad, I think, was a Razorback fan. And the reports were saying that he wanted to go to Arkansas. But he's either never offered or they just didn't recruit him or whatever. So there's that. That's the one thing I remember about it. And it just reminded me of how crazy it was with him. But no, who cares, right? No big deal anymore. It's all fine. We're all good. Quarterback position, it's all fine. Also, I'm glad that Nike finally got rid of this deal. They were they changed their jerseys for Major League Baseball. Thank goodness, because people needed to stop seeing whatever was going on. But now they're changing. They're changing. They admitted they're like, because they're not sweat resistant. We know that they're transparent. You could see in their pants, like right there. Like, come on.
That's bad.
Like, that was terrible. And, I mean, look at this. Like, look at the tiny lettering that looked just off. Like, just look at that. Like, come on, man. Like, these are terrible. So anyways, they're done with those jerseys, and they're going back to the way it needed to be. Thank goodness. Like, I love, like, Nike's one of the best in the business when it comes to apparel and all of that. But, like, sometimes things don't need to be changed. Like, how many players were straight up being like, man, I really want less material and I need to change in my jerseys.
Don't fix something that's not broken.
Yeah. They just wanted to. I don't know why, but they wanted to. It was terrible. And I'm glad that they're at least fixing that. Also, there was something in the chat I wanted to bring up too. But let's see. Let me go back to this. Apparently, Big Z buzzed his hair. It says check out Big Z's story as he completely bugged his hair. Here's the thing. Here's what's crazy about the technology that we have is like I can actually like probably go on here and check it out myself.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
Because what was he rocking before?
Just a little hair, regular old.
Oh, let's see. What's his Twitter account? We're doing this on the fly. It's fine.
Find Twitter.
Or no, Instagram. Sorry, Instagram. I get them all mixed
ZVON.
There we go. Okay, found it. Yeah, however you spell his name and everything.
Yeah, I don't want to say it because I
just
say it
Big
wrong.
Z. Just say Big Z. Let's just stick with that. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get this to come up. I know he's putting out that. That was great. I guess Aaron Bradshaw was there.
Next one.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. Let's go back to this. Let's diagram this. Let's pause this up. I mean, how are we thinking about this? Like the buzz hair. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm never gonna buzz my hair like that. But
like my fear is at my age, if I buzz my hair now, I wouldn't get it back.
Wouldn't get it back.
Like, and I don't think I could pull off the buzz hair. I used to have a buzz head when I was a kid, but yeah, I don't know. Like, hey, whatever works, whatever it is that he wants to play. Not to mention the fact that by the time basketball season starts back up, if he wanted to, he could go back. But hey, new team, new me. Apparently, is what Big Z's going for. So I like how he's supportive of his former teammates too. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't care what anybody says. I think that part of it's pretty cool. So Big C over there getting his hair cut. People in the chat are really pretty mean too. Talking about that. Everyone's asked about Samto announcement. That's one's at 7 tonight, I believe. 7 o'clock Central Time. It's hard to keep up with, honestly. It's truly hard to keep up. Braden's asking, will news be popping at 6? That's what I joked about. But even if it is, we're going to be going live.
Yeah, it's 8 p.m. Eastern. So
Eastern.
7
Okay,
here.
so yeah, that's what I thought. 7 o'clock was when it was going to be. So I'd be shocked if Samto came to Arkansas. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but that'd just be icing on the cake if you're able to get him as well as Harrison and also Adu, which I think Adu is a foregone conclusion at this point in time. Hasn't been confirmed or reported, but to me, I'm fine with him coming to Arkansas, and saying that I feel really good about it. That'll be a big get for them. McDaniel says, please explain why anyone other than Petrino as the Hogs head, why it would be anyone other than Petrino as the Hogs head coach, especially if the offense looks formidable. Because I don't know if Petrino wants to be a head coach anymore. That's my point. And he may be just fine being an OC and not having to worry about NIL crap or any of that. That's what I'm saying.
How old is he? 62?
Oh, I thought he was older than that, but he might only be 62. He's gotten older in his ages, and 63, actually. He's 63. So, I don't know. Like, would you really want that? I just don't know if he wants that. I just don't know if he wants. He's not the type that deals with NIL. He's not the type that's going to put up with that type of thing. So
I want a younger guy that can be here 10 years, 20 years. I want a splash, decent hire.
They need to get somebody that's going to involve themselves and know how to work NIL, first and foremost. That's what it has to be. Now somebody's going to say, oh, Deion. Okay, no. But you also have to coach too. Like you have to be both. But the priority would be somebody that can handle the NIL. Because there's a reason why Nick Saban's no longer in the game. Because the NIL. You can hate the NIL. It's fine. But that's the name of the game right now. It's the way it's played. So you got to get somebody in there too. Old P. Steves comes in. He says, Sam Pittman is the youngest Big Three head coach we have. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I've never thought of it that way.
Look at P. Steves coming in. Yeah, I guess it's true. How old is Mike Nabors? Is Mike Nabors older than Sam Pittman? That would be the question.
He's 55.
That's how old Sam Pittman is?
That's how old Mike Nabors is.
Okay. And Sam Pittman is?
He's 62.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, he's at least older than
Dave Van Horn.
That is because Dave Van Horn is because Cal's old.
Dave's 63.
That's right. Because I was about to say Cal's definitely
like
older.
65.
That's nuts. That's wild. Well, thanks, Steve's coming in the witching hour over here and doing that. Man, yeah, coaches are kind of old because I know Jordan Weaver's young.
Yeah, she's probably in her 20s, 30s.
Yeah, it's wild. Courtney Deifel's pretty young. I think she's in her 30s. I think she's my age, actually. I think she's 35, somewhere in there. Colby Hales he's middle-aged, I think, for soccer.
Deifel's 43.
43? Nice. So, Arkansas, old coaches, apparently. Going with the old coaches there. I'm putting this up, P. Steves. Live from a West Little Rock toilet. Thanks, Steves. I always count on you to be hitting it. He's just jumping on to make sure to see if any breaking news was going on there too. Hopefully, it's a nice gas station out there in West Little Rock you're doing. So, Aiden says baseball is the complete opposite of the dog years. I agree there. It's that right now over the past 5 to 6 years, roughly, even 7. Basically, 2018 to now, Arkansas has been prime, peak. Like, they just got to win it all. But there's not been many, if any, baseball programs that have been more consistent since 2018 than Arkansas. I mean, when their worst year was losing last year in the regionals, where they won the SEC regular season with a bunch of injuries. Kind of tells you all you need to know. Like this from Kingsley. Arkansas head coaches, presidential candidates. Very true. All a bunch of old heads out here. All a bunch of old heads. Mr. Warlight says, how do you feel about the overseas basketball games Arkansas will now play due to their new recruiting class? I need to know more about that because I thought that there was a rule that you had to wait for 4 years between trips, and Arkansas went on a trip to overseas. But I don't know. Maybe there could be something like that. I just be honest. There could be something I don't even know about. Travis says, does NIL continue to go up or does it level out? I don't see the ROI for boosters giving tens of millions, not just Arkansas, but others too. I think eventually it's going to level out. Like, it'll still go up, but just not as quickly as it has.
Yeah. I mean, it's still new.
Yeah, it's still new. And also, like, again, business people are giving a lot of money, and unless they're getting a return in their investment, they're not going to keep pouring in money for crap. Like, that was kind of part of the reason that there was such a disconnect with Muss and that whole deal is because there were some people who gave a lot of money in NIL, and the product went on the court, and they're like, what am I doing this for? Yeah. Why am I putting in all this money, and we're not getting anything out of it? So I think eventually it'll level up a little bit, but it'll still slowly but surely go up there. Yeah, Kingsley, this is what I thought too. It's like overseas tours are only every 4 years, and Hogs not up for another 2 years. That's my understanding too.
I'm shocked that doesn't reset after a new head coach, though.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do. I don't know if it's if it would be a head coach or like I always thought it'd be cool like if you had players that were on your roster from overseas, like with in this case Big Z.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you have to go play in Croatia, but like something to where it could make sense of like, hey, we're trying to play a game that's closer to his home country. Like maybe they could get away with that. I don't know. The rule. It doesn't seem like there's any rules anyways anymore at this point. There doesn't seem to be any more rules. Everything's just a free for all at this point. And then, geez, we're falling by. It's almost already 6 o'clock. Okay, I wanted to wait until the very 6 o'clock time frame in case anything needed to blow open. But there is going to be some news tonight, folks. I'm just telling you right now. So you better be subscribing to Natty State Sports. There's going to be some news tonight. And also, there were some people asking about the merch. NattyStateSports.com/shop. It's our merch. You get to check out shirts like this. Little hat over here you get to check out. We're going to have more stuff popping off of there as well. But just be on the lookout for that. That's how you can get on the merch. Going to have some polo shirts here too. Golf polos. Yeah, so you can look really cool when you're out there golfing. Because I can only look good. I can never play good. And everyone keeps asking about the NIL. I mean, the NIL is a crazy thing, but it ain't going anywhere. I love this question. What does Natty State stand for? Well, BTC PAC, let me tell you, stands for Natty State Sports, which is the natural state, which Arkansas's nickname is the natural state. So therefore, that's why I based the logo, like as you can see on my shirt here. So the state flag behind me. A little twist on it. It's about Arkansas, powered by Arkansas for Arkansas. That's what the motto is. So that's what it stands for. It's for natural state, the Arkansas. Because it used to be the land of opportunity, I believe, before Bill Clinton was governor, and he changed it to the natural state. I could be mistaken. I took Arkansas. Did you have to still take Arkansas history in school?
It was like 8th grade.
Yeah, I had to take Arkansas history in 8th grade, too, and I think that's what it was. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it used to be the land of opportunity.
I like natural state.
Yeah, natural state's so much better. Land of opportunity, that's like every place. Everybody could say that they're the land of opportunity. So, he says, I'm a new member of Woo Pig Nation. Got to get up to speed. Well, you're in the right place, my friend. You're in the right place. See, Scott Yerrick says, sorry if this was answered. Are we still talking to Kobe Bria? Any other 3 and D players? I think a little bit. Like, it's define talking. Like, that's the deal. Is like, are you like heavily pursuing? Maybe not. Still at arm's length? Sure. But right now, I think that they've just been so much focused on Garrison and Adu and John L. Like, that's what they've really been focused on. David says, I want a pink shirt. They're for sale. Go check them out. Look really good. Really good. I wore it the other day. Curtis had his on today. Pretty good looking shirts. All right, just a few more of these, and then we'll wrap up. Dalton says, what does Natty State stand for? Is the new Mason Jones used to be fat or Roberts Morris dad's now the former GM of the Royals? That's true. Love that. It's going to have to keep going on for it. Porkenstein says it used to be the Bear State. Huh. Of all things, Bears?
I didn't know we had.
Thought California was more the Bears because they got the California thing. It doesn't matter.
Arkansas just got a commitment from Wilt Chamberlain. That's a comment.
Oh. Big if true. Wilt Chamberlain's doing that. Braden says, can I get a United States branded bottle of Tito's? Well, we got other things branded in Tito's that we're getting here first. And it'll be pretty cool to see once you see it. So I'm sure maybe we could get with my buddy Mac over at Tito's and see if we can set something up. That'd be pretty cool. Have a bottle of Tito's branded to Natty State. So the Black Bear State is what people are saying. And it's perfect because Jed Clampett's the one that told us that it was Black Bear State. Thank you, Jed Clampett. You know who Jed Clampett is, Will?
I don't.
You ever heard of the Beverly Hillbillies?
Mm-hmm.
You know where the Beverly Hillbillies came from? Or what the whole premise of it is? It's okay. Beverly Hillbillies is the show where the Clampetts from Arkansas ran into a bunch of oil money, had all these millions, and they decided to move out to Beverly Hills. And they obviously didn't fit in because they were hillbillies.
The hillbillies.
It's Jed Clampett was the guy's name, yeah. So you learned something new now today, Will.
Learned something new.
Yeah. These people are coming in there.
So disappointed, Will.
Yep. I know. It's okay. Hey, listen, I'll be the first to defend Will on this. Like, yes, it seems so obvious to us, but I remember when I was Will's age, there was stuff that got brought up to me that, because are you the youngest or oldest or middle child, single child? Like, what are you?
I'm the oldest of two.
You're oldest of two. Okay. See, I was lucky enough to be the youngest, and my oldest brother was 14 years older than me. Ooh. So it's like I was able to kind of have like a little bit of a generation thing where they helped me out in learning some things. But if you're like the oldest and you're only 18, I mean, it's not like Nick at Night plays anymore. Like, do you know what Nick at Night is?
Nick at Night.
Okay, at least you know that. Because that's how I always learned about my sitcoms back in the day, watching Three's Company and Different Strokes. So, P. Steves, man, he's on the toilet. He's letting us know about it. He says, black bears used to be more hunted than white-tailed deer here. Man, we are finding out a lot today. Finding out a lot. Well, that does it for us. Appreciate everybody listening into the John Nabors Show. Be sure to like and subscribe to the show. Also get after Natty State Sports. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube because we're about to have a lot of great things continuing to pop off. Your one-stop source for all things Razorback sports here at Natty State. So anytime some big news happens, we're going to go live. We got the John Nabors Show. Of course, Pod at the Palace, bombastic podcast. Andrew Ellis had a great show today talking Razorback baseball. So we'll keep that happening. Where else? So don't forget, we're going to be live at Chug Soda Bar there in Farmington. Really looking forward to hanging out with them and checking out their new location in Farmington. That's on Wednesday. And also Tin Roof on Thursday. That's going to be fun too. So we've got a lot of things going on, a lot of things popping. So for Will, intern Will, I don't want to use his last name. He's not worthy of it yet. But for intern Will, I'm John Nabors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. And stay tuned for big news tonight because it's going to be happening.